All right, Garrett Johnston here with Patrick Reed, and a bit of a strong point in your season. You've been playing some pretty good golf. What's been going on?
Yeah, I just feel like the things I've been working on with coach and everything has been kind of clicking now. It's for me, it's always been about consistency, getting the ball and hit the ball consistent throughout, day by day. And I feel like that's getting tighter, and because of that, to allow my short game to shine. And anytime I can allow the short game to be the one that goes out and wins me, tournaments, birdies, and things like that, that's the thing that's important for me. And I feel like to take the pressure off with hitting the ball as well as I've been, it's allowing that to happen, so it's a little bit more free.
Mm. Well, when I look at what's happened recently in majors, live players playing really well, including yourself, at both majors so far. What have you noticed so far, and just what would you say is the key to that, and what has been the vibe like for live golfers at majors?
Yeah, I think the vibe's just been kind of what all of us have expected as players. Is we all know out here, a part of LIV, that we're all the same golfers that we've always been. We just decided to play somewhere else, and because of that, when we get to majors, I feel like we're more rested, ready to go, and a little bit more fine-tuned. And because of that, we've been having really good showings, as a lot of us have had a part of LIV, because we come in, I feel like, fresh and ready to go, and really, something to prove, and something to go out there and play for.
What's the reception been like between other players that are still on PGA Tour, like in your experience so far?
Yeah. The guys have been the exact same. That's the thing, is that it's more of the media and the perception of trying to make it bigger than what it is, because at Augusta, the guys all were happy to see me acted the exact same way that they always have, and then same thing at at the PGA. All the guys, it's business as usual. You go see old friends, you go out and practice and joke around with them while you're on the practice areas, and if you're playing with them, same way we always talk to each other. So nothing's really changed on that aspect at all.
Well, that being said, I know that you're a player. When you do have a chip on your shoulder, you've really responded over the years at different events. So I'm curious, like, if there ever is a negative side to it from the other guys. Let's say, for example, like the Ryder Cup potentially, right? There's a lot for you to have to qualify, right? So what would you feel like you would have to do to qualify to get on the Ryder Cup team, and what do you think are your chances?
Well, really, you have to go play really well in the majors and probably stay inside the top six, where you're where you're automatic lock. When it comes down to picks, I think that. I don't think picks really would go our favor as as
Team Reed?
just as guys a part of LIV, just because of all the stuff that's gone on. But really, I think the biggest thing is if you go out and you play well, like Brooks has done, where he's finished second and has won one. It's gonna be hard to leave someone like that off. And I have a fourth and an 18th, and I know I need to go play really well in the other two majors, because those are really the only chances we have to earn points. So. You have to go out and earn points, and at least get as high up there as you can, and at least make it a debate.
Well, you mentioned Brooks. Like, what do you feel that does for you guys as LIV players, watching him win a major championship?
Yeah, it's huge. I feel like not only is it huge for him, but it's also huge for LIV and everything, because of that narrative of everyone saying that there's no real competition, there's and all this other false narratives they want to try to say, and all the negativity they want to say about LIV. And we go out and we have showings like that where Brooks, I felt like he should have won the first one at Augusta, and he didn't have the Sunday he wanted to, and then to back it up and go to PGA and go ahead and close that deal off, and for the guys to play as well as we have as a whole part of LIV, it just shows that we all can hack it. We're all really really as good as golfers as we always have been. Now we're able to be rested and primed for the big events.
Well, when you mentioned that, it feels like sometimes there's like false narratives with whether with the media or other outlets. Like, what do you feel is feeding that? Like, what do you feel is behind that? Like, from your in the year you've been there, you know what I mean? Like, what have you picked up? What does your eyes see?
Yeah, it's hard to say where it comes from, but the only thing I can think of is how a lot of people don't like change. When something changes or something new comes about, it's easy to kind of try to find something negative and try to shut it down, rather than go in with it with an open mind to see how it could actually help the game. And I feel like time will tell, like, later on how it really all pans out. But I feel like being a part of LIV has been absolutely amazing. The vibe out here, just the different kind of formats, the faster pace, being 54 holes, and being shotgun where you're all on the golf course at the exact same time. It really showcases who's playing the best golf that week, because everyone's on the golf course at the exact same time. There's no such thing as a draw.
What's your favorite part about being on a team here?
Oh, the team thing is huge. You're out there not playing just for yourself and your small team at home, but you're out there playing for 3 other guys and their teams, and and especially when you're on a team like ours, where we're part of the four aces, and how we've played last year with the dominance of last season, and then this year coming out, and even though we haven't won as many events as we feel like we should have, to still be at the top of that podium and top of that standings is something huge.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, one thing I haven't had a chance to ask you yet over the years. We've known each other since, 2013 when you were a rookie. I was just curious, like, in that 10 years, hard to believe, you've been, out in pro golf for 10 plus years, but do you feel like at all there is an unfair view of the way media covers Patrick Reed? And if so, like, what could be done to remedy that? Or what's your thought process, your observation?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like, I've been portrayed the wrong way, in a negative light, through the media and things like that. And, really just, the more I just continue being myself out there, and the more I, meet other people that are outside of the golf world and also in the golf world, and just continue being true to who I am, and then actually getting to know the real me, that's how it will change. But, it's just one of those things that it takes time, and it's something that's not going to happen overnight. And, all I can do is just keep my head down, keep doing what I'm doing, and play the way I do, and then act the way I'm supposed to, and set a good example for my children. And as long as I'm doing that, everything else will take care of itself.
And I love that you said real me. So like, what would be, for fans at home that you feel like maybe haven't seen the real you yet, like what's something about you that you would eliminate?
Eliminate?
Illuminate for them, like show them.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me, is that, when I'm inside the ropes, I'm all business, head down, focus, grind. Growing up watching Tiger Woods play as a kid, and seeing his determination and how he was laser focused on everything, that's how a lot of us grew up wanting to be like. And for me, that's how I've always been. When I'm going to work, I'm at work, my head's down, I'm focusing, I put my blinders on, I go to work. But outside of the ropes, I love just to hang out, have fun, and play with my kids, and really just have a good time. And people obviously don't get to see that because they only see what's going on inside the ropes.
Right. One last thing, just because we're in a social media world, are you able to put your blinders on when it comes to timelines, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, like, you know what I mean? Does that, you're talking about on the course, but like, does it help you off the course too? Like, how do you view social media?
I don't like social media. Never have.
Why is that?
I've wished my daughter a happy birthday when she was younger, and just some of the trolls and just the negative comments, wishing bad on her, and I'm like, yeah, how could you say stuff like that about a child? And that's just not right. But those are also the 40, 45, 30-year-old people that are living in their parents' bedrooms and basements the whole time,
hiding behind a keyboard, maybe.
Exactly. And that's the thing. People need to be held accountable for everything they say, everything they do. If you're a public figure, you're held accountable for absolutely everything. Well, that also deserves to be said in social media and on the internet and everything. You should be held accountable for everything. And social media platforms are not held accountable for anything. They can say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and they get away with it. And that's just not. I'm not good with that.
You said something about being held accountable, and it makes me think. And you don't have to answer this, up to you. But do you feel like, with some of the negative flack that may have come from Paris, and so there might be a school of thought of people that say, hey, well, Reed should be held accountable for certain comments after what happened in Paris in the Ryder Cup. Like, what would you say to them? You know what I mean? Like, because I agree with you on accountability. It's important in our lives in general. But like, how would you speak back to them if they make that argument?
So I was held accountable for that. I talked to the guys afterwards and apologized to them, told them I stepped out of line on. I should have gone to the team first before talking to someone in the media. But, it's one of those things that, I talked to those guys and buried those hatchets once that was all said and done. But, it's things like that. You learn from those mistakes, and you move on, and you just make sure that they don't happen again.
He's on the leading Four Aces team here on LIV Golf. Patrick Reed.